This episode is sponsored by Therese at Small Business Collaborative. One of the biggest challenges that product-based business owners often face is pricing their products right, and that is even more important if you're looking to start wholesaling your products. Right now, listeners can access a free product pricing masterclass. This masterclass will help you set the right prices to maximize profits and appeal to retail buyers. You can sign up for the free pricing masterclass using the link in the show notes. And if you want even more help, Teresa's Start to Wholesale course is designed to help you confidently break into the wholesale market. From pricing to how to create your first wholesale catalogue, this course covers everything you need to know to get your products into retailers. Don't miss this opportunity to take your business to the next level with expert guidance from Therese at Small Business Collaborative. Welcome to the Bring Your Product Idea to Life podcast. This is the podcast for you if you're getting started selling products or if you'd like to create your own product to sell. I'm Vicky Weinberg, a product creation coach and Amazon expert. Every week I share friendly, practical advice as well as inspirational stories from small businesses. Let's get started. So today on the podcast, I am speaking with Lucy Jeffrey. You may remember that Lucy actually joined me in an earlier episode talking about her products business, Faire, where she makes bamboo socks with the profits going to various charities. But today I've invited Lucy onto the podcast to talk about Faire. Faire, as you may know, is a wholesale platform, and Lucy is doing extremely well on the platform, to the point at which I've invited her to come along and talk to us as a bit of a Faire expert. Lucy has her own YouTube channel where she shares tips and advice for selling your products on Faire, and she also offers consultancy and other support for anyone who needs it. As I say, she is definitely a Faire expert. Faire is a marketplace that many of you have told me you're interested in. I've been looking for an expert for a while, and I couldn't believe my luck when I saw this was something that Lucy also does. So hopefully we've answered all your Faire questions in this episode, and if not, you will know where to contact us both if you need any more help. So I would love now to introduce you to Lucy. So hi Lucy, thank you so much for joining me again.
No worries, Vicky. Happy to be here again.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here today because we're going to talk about Faire, and I've been looking to do a podcast episode specifically about Faire for such a long time, and I know you are an expert, and I'm so pleased to have you join me. So can you just, for anyone who perhaps hasn't listened to your last episode or has but needs a bit of a reminder, remind us all who you are, what you do, what you sell?
Yeah, of course. So, hi everyone. My name's Lucy Jeffrey. I'm the founder of a company called Faire, and we sell socks that save animals. So we donate 10% of the profits to save the animal on the sock. And what's unique about us in that way is that we're very specific with the charities that we're donating to. So we're partnered with over 30 wildlife conservation and rescue charities now. So if you're buying a pair of orangutan socks, it's being donated to the Orangutan Foundation, turtle socks, Turtle Foundation. So every sock is pretty specific to the animal that you're seeing on the sock. And that's my primary business, which has been running for about 6 years now. We have a Shopify website, but we've also done very well in the wholesale space, particularly in the digital wholesale space, including Faire, which is why we're talking today, because I've set up kind of a secondary business almost by accident, really. So we did really well on Faire with our business. And as a result, we started sharing videos about it on YouTube, just talking about it. Actually, the reason we started is because people didn't know what Faire was, and we were trying to get people to buy through Faire. So I was like, oh, if I come on camera and talk about it, maybe it'll build a bit of trust. And that worked. Then we realized that people were searching for Faire to get tips on how to sell better on the platform. So we just started sharing advice, and that's where it began. And now we have the YouTube channel, which is called Candid Founders, but we've actually registered as a business now because we sell digital courses and products. I do consulting on it. We have, if someone wants us to run their Faire account for them. So we do like a range of different things. But yeah, we've done a lot with Faire. We do have a Faire rep that we speak to on a regular basis. I've been to many events with them. So we're pretty close with them from like a client side as well. But I always just sing their praises. I know there's the skeptics out there about the platform, but I guess, are a case study of having done very, very well on the platform, and it's been amazing for our business. So I'm very happy to talk about them positively.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I think it's great how you had a great experience yourself and learnt the platform inside out, and now you're sharing that to help others. I think that's brilliant. And For anyone who doesn't know what Faire is, and I'm sure lots of people do because I've had so much interest in this episode, Lucy, but for anyone who doesn't, can you just tell us briefly what Faire is and also why you recommend it? Because you recommended it pretty strongly. So I would also love to know why you think it's a great platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So Faire is an American business. That's where it started. I think it started as Indigo Faire, back like way back like 6 or 7 years ago in America. It's only started in the UK in the last 3 years, and it's a wholesale digital marketplace. When I'm explaining it to people that have never heard of it, I tend to say it's, I guess, similar to Etsy, but for wholesale. It's meant to be like independent brands selling to independent retailers, and that's how it started. There is another question if it still is that. I feel like there's definitely bigger companies coming onto it. I know there's people complaining about, it's an extremely saturated marketplace. However, I feel like that's just comes par for the course with a big growing marketplace. It's going to happen. It's going to get busy. So yeah, we definitely benefited from being an early adopter in Europe. So we had that kind of growth at the start, but we're still going pretty strong. It works. It's free, by the way. So it's free as a retailer to buy. It's free as a brand to sign up. Where they make their money is taking a commission on orders that they bring to you. So there's two parts of Faire that are really important to know the difference between. You've got Faire Direct, which is we have a Faire Direct link. So we send people that link, and it's specifically to our page, Bear Kind on Faire. So we can send them that link. They'll click on it. They can shop with us, 0% commission. That order is free to us forever. They are sit on our platform on Faire as a customer that's 0% commission. So that's kind of locked in. So if you do a lot of your own acquisition, which we do, and we'll come to that, that part of it is free. Where Faire make their money is it's a marketplace. So if someone in America, in Europe, somewhere is just sitting there searching for socks, animal socks, badger socks, whatever they might be searching for, if they come across us and they buy from us, Faire will take a 25% commission off that order. That's the first order. If they come back and repeat buy from you, it's a 15% commission. So yes, I guess people are hearing that 25% commission and thinking that's quite steep, especially on wholesale margins. So it is something you need to be aware of going into it, is looking at your margins and understanding, can you take that commission out of your margins? But if you're doing a lot of your own acquisition, which we are, a lot of those orders we're getting in are still 0%. So if you add them all up, the blended commission is actually way lower than 25%. I think we sit around 10%. And actually, we love getting those orders in because that's just a cost of acquisition. So rather than spending all that money on going to a trade show and maybe getting an order, it's a guaranteed order and commission has come off the back of it. You haven't even spent money on Facebook ads. Like, it's literally a guaranteed order. So that's why I'm a fan of the platform, because it has got us so many sales, so many orders and customers that keep coming back, that we didn't have to acquire them. Faire acquired them for us. So we're happy to pay the commission for that cost, because we know how expensive digital advertising is at the moment and how hard it is to acquire customers. So Faire is doing the work for us.
That's brilliant. Thank you. And when you say that they're doing work for you, I'm just curious. Do they do, is it all customers finding you on Faire through search, or a Faire sort of recommending your products to retailers they think might like them?
A bit of both. Yeah, it's a good question. So it's an algorithm. So we don't know exactly how the algorithm works, but I have my assumptions based on what I've seen. So there is search. So yeah, there is definitely some work needs to be done in kind of optimizing your profile. So yeah, from an SEO point of view, like you would on any other platform. So people searching for your product will find it. The algorithm will push you, once it kind of learns your products and who are buying from you, the algorithm will start pushing you to like-minded customers. And that's what we've been told anyway. My assumption is the algorithm is there to make Faire money. Like, that's the purpose of their business, is to make money. So we are sitting there as a brand that's doing well. And if we are doing well and making lots of our own sales, and that's what we did our own acquisition, the algorithm starts seeing us and seeing our product and seeing that, oh, well, they're making those of sales, so I should push them to these customers because they can make me money. They want the commission. So that's my assumption. The algorithm is there to push you where you should make sales. So I think people come into me saying they don't have any sales. Usually it's because they're not doing any of the work. So although Faire is, yes, making us money, we are doing a lot of work behind it as well to make sure, the customer service side of it, the acquisition, return customers as well, and also optimizing our profile to make sure those orders are coming in. So yes, it will bring you customers, but you also have to work for it. It's not some like magic thing that you'll set on the platform and loads of orders will come in. Like we've been doing this for nearly 3 years now. There's a lot of work that goes behind it to actually make those sales come in as well.
That makes a lot of sense. And it sounds like the more proactive you are about getting your own acquisitions and getting people to shop with your own direct link, and the more sales you're getting, the more Faire will, I don't know if reward is the right word, but the more visible they'll make you, because they can see that they can see that you've got the sales history. So you've almost got that social proof that, okay, people are buying these products, they must like these products.
Exactly.
So that makes a lot of sense. And I know what you mean as well about the algorithms being kind of secret, because that seems to be the thing with all of these big platforms. They don't quite want to tell you how you
exactly, because otherwise people would just use it as a way. Like if they knew exactly what to do, then it would kind of be a waste. But I think it's just the assumption that the algorithm is there to make money. So we like lean into that. But yeah, absolutely, as you said, the more customers you're getting in on your 0%, it's better for you as well, because that's 0% commission. And generally it's a very, very good platform. Like there are other wholesale marketplaces out there. So we're also on Anchor Store and Create, and we've been on those for a couple of years as well, but their interface is much harder to use. Customers don't like it as much, and we generally don't get as many sales from them. But Faire's platform, they've obviously spent a lot of money on the interface itself. So it's actually very good as a sales tool. It's very easy to use, and it reduces the admin burden on us, especially with, they've got like net payment terms and they hold the credit risk. So the customer, Faire will always guarantee that they pay you, and then they're the ones that have to chase the customer for payment. So that's an amazing thing on wholesale.
That is, and now you've said that, I'm thinking the side I hadn't even considered is that, of course, it's kind of like managing the wholesale side of your business.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's got a database of customers. You can take the payments. All of that is kind of built into the system that you're not paying to use. That sounds like a huge advantage.
Oh yeah, massive. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. So you've got a database of customers. It's basically like a CRM. So you've got your database of customers. You can message them directly. So you're almost DMing your customers in there, and they can do it based on stuff that's happening with the order. So you've got order history in there. You've got email marketing tools in there. Obviously all your products, inventory. So, if for people who maybe didn't have a wholesale platform before, which I guess, no, we didn't. Our wholesale was all manual. This is a huge game changer in terms of like the admin it required to do a manual order. If you're creating the invoice, building the order, and it all links up with our Shopify. So the order, we've set it up. You don't have to do this, but we've set it up so the order will ping into Shopify, and that gets pulled to our warehouse. So literally all we have to do when we get an order is just maybe glance over it, check we're okay with it, click accept, put a date in to say when it'll be shipped, and then everything else is done for us. And then afterwards we have to put the tracking number in. The tracking number doesn't go back through, but that's all we have to do. And so it's just sped everything up, and it just means we can actually afford to bring in this volume because we can actually deal with it quite quickly and efficiently.
That's great. It sounds like it saves an awful lot of admin.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you've been on Faire for 3 years now, which sounds like you were probably one of the first or among the first to get onto the platform in the UK, based on sort of the timings you've given. So I'd love to know how you started and how you've grown on Faire. If we could talk a little bit about that, because it sounds like you had an advantage from being there right at the beginning, because as you say, all marketplaces get busier and busier. It'd be really interesting to talk about how you got set up and what you've done to grow on there.
Yeah. So yeah, we're coming up to 3 years in October, I think. But Faire, they've just gone, I think last month had their 3-year birthday in Europe. So that just shows you we were pretty early on in their like European journey. So yeah, we definitely had the benefit of some of the setup bonuses that they had at the start, because it used to be that they'd so for every customer that we brought onto the platform, so if I went and I spoke to a gift shop and I say, hey, sign up to Faire through my link, that shop would be given £300 worth of credit to spend on our product, which is a huge amount of money. Maybe not, I guess, in like bigger wholesale, but for these like smaller retailers and us as a smaller brand, that was incredible. So I think people thought it was a scam. And again, that's why I said at the start, that's why I came on camera to talk about it, because people were like, why are you giving me £300 worth for free? I just don't believe that this is real. So we just did loads of videos to be like, is this a scam? No, here's why. We were just trying to get as many people as possible to go through it. So that first year, and we had that from October till June. So that's been October 21 to June 2022. We had that offer. So we put everything into just getting as many people onto the platform as possible. And obviously, because it was new, pretty much everyone we spoke to were new to the platform. So we did an amazing amount of growth in that space. And one, yes, we had the benefits of being early, but two, I think we were just one of the only companies, it seems, that was like, oh, this is actually a really good deal and just absolutely go for it. Whereas others were really skeptical and I think didn't make the most of the offer, whereas we just absolutely went for it. And it was a lot of our own acquisition. So most of the commission, there were hardly any Faire marketplace orders at that point. It was mostly our own customers, which was awesome. And then a few things we did that really helped with this. So, sending postcards out, I think that was definitely helped with the trust because we had, we were sending emails, but then we sent a postcard on top of that with my face on saying £300 worth of socks, scan this QR code. Also, when we got to the point where we had a database where we'd sent them an email, maybe we'd sent them a postcard, we started sending samples out. Like we just were doing everything we could to get those £300 customers in. And then we found a niche that was so powerful for us that we hadn't even considered before. So obviously we've got like gift shops and zoo gift shops, museums, there's all kinds of places that we can sell into. But one we hadn't considered was podiatrists. So people that look after your feet. We're selling bamboo socks. They're amazing for your feet for all like loads of different benefits behind them. And so we realized actually there's so many podiatrists in the UK and Europe, we could be really tapping into this. So we started pushing down that route. We found a good Facebook group. We went to them directly. We were emailing them. But the single biggest thing that we did, and I think lots of people could learn from this, is we went to where they are. So rather than thinking about the platforms that we're using, we thought, well, what actually platforms do they use? Facebook was one of them. There was like a podiatrist selling group. The second one was we went to the Royal College of Podiatry because they have a mailing list with thousands of podiatrists on them. And we paid them to send an email to their database talking about our offer on Faire. And it did have to be more kind of scientific and educational, but we were able to put the CTA in as Faire. And that one email made so much money. And so I'm kind of still looking for like opportunities like that where you can find a niche and then go to them from like their own source of trust rather than going to them directly. And it's just much more powerful than a cold email. So definitely think about that. But then after that, I guess in the next like year and a half, when the offer has gone, what have we done? So a lot of cold emailing. So like our kind of acquisition flows that we've built, it's a lot of going out and finding our own leads and putting them into those flows, sending samples. But I think people focus a lot on acquisition, but don't forget we had a massive customer base already. So it's also going back along that customer base and thinking about, right, what can we do to make these customers more valuable over their lifetime? So it's things like sending them catalogs in the post. If you've got customers that are quite big and they're ordering quite a lot from you, then it's sending a catalog is a great cost. Happy to send samples. We also relationship manage our larger customers. So customers that are really valuable to us, we're on the phone to them, like we're speaking to them, we've met them in person, we go to visit them, like we're really like going down all the kind of channels. It's not just us sitting behind the laptop doing this, we've actually gone to see them. So yeah, as I said, it's a lot of work and we do have a team that does this. But it was just myself and my partner to start with. So you can see how we've grown and now there's 4 of us that work on the account. So there is so much you can do. And again, this is why we've managed to build a YouTube channel out of it, because every video is like, here's how to do your SEO, here's how to do your email marketing. There's so many ideas that you can try. And what I love about it is, we've got a real business behind it. So we're talking about it as experts on YouTube, but we're actually trying everything out ourselves on our actual business. So we can be like, oh, we tried this and it didn't work, or we tried this and it was the single best thing we did. So yes, there's obviously lots to do.
Wow, thank you for sharing all of that, because I really think that people will find that really inspiring. And it sounds like, as I'm listening to you, I'm feeling like relationships are really key here, because I think when you're using any form of technology, it can be really tempting to hide behind it, to send emails, to push things out, but not actually pick up the phone or engage with people in real life. Because for a lot of us, that can be quite intimidating or a bit out of our comfort zone.
It is, yeah. Yeah, and this is the kind of age of Faire. What it's done is it has made wholesale very transactional, and the benefits of that are those buyers, they can sit at home and really easily shop whenever they want. It's literally just an online shopping experience, so it's very convenient. there's people are not having to go to trade shows and speak one-to-one with every single person that they want to get a product from. So I get it. It's awesome from that point of view. But yes, it has made it very, very transactional. But because it's such a saturated marketplace, your superpower is going to be being the one business, because I'm not seeing many businesses that do this, that goes and makes those relationships. And I'm not saying do it with every single customer. I actually did a video recently that on customer segmentation. So we A, B, C, D segment our customer base. So what I mean by that is you export all your customers, descending value based on how much they've spent with you. And then you just take your top quarter, that's your A customers. So these are the customers that have spent the most money with you. So it's your top 20%. We relationship manage those customers. So I guess depending how big you are, depends how many customers might be in that pot. If there's hundreds, then you really should have a wholesale team, but there shouldn't be, like, basically. So we don't have hundreds in that segment. We've got a really good top 20% who we are able to relationship manage. Our B customers, we might relationship manage some of them as well. And actually what I recommend people do is take some of those B customers and see what happens when you do relationship manage them. Can you push them up into the A customers? C and Ds, there'll obviously be people in there that will work their way up the ranks, but it's about realizing that you definitely cannot relationship manage your whole entire customer base, and you don't need to. If there's people in there that don't order much from you, then they don't need to be relationship managed. But if we've got people ordering thousands from us each time, then they deserve a really, really good service. And don't get me wrong, everyone gets good customer service, but the relationship management is slightly different. It is, and you learn so much from them picking up the phone. It honestly boggles my mind, the amount of like clients that I've worked with, and I'm like, and they say, "Oh, I assume this about the product," and like, are you assume that? But have you spoken to your customer? Like, are they actually doing that? And they're like, "Oh no, I haven't." I was like, "Have you spoken to any customers?" And it is this digital world where we're behind a laptop. I know it's very easy to not speak to customers, but gosh, especially if you don't have a retail store, as we don't, we're just at home and on our website. These retailers are actually meeting the customers day to day, so they know so much about our product and like what customers are actually asking for. So we get feedback from them about which socks to bring out next, what to do with our point of sale stands. Like, it's amazing wealth of knowledge when you actually get them on the phone.
And also, as you said, that as things have got so transactional, I think you are probably really standing out among other perhaps similar products because you're the one picking up the phone, or they've met you and they can see your face. Do you know what I mean? There's more of a relationship there. And I feel like relationships are key. People want that. And I really think it helps you to stick out in people's mind. And yeah, I think building relationships is key, particularly now that things are getting so transactional and everyone's just at home behind a laptop.
Yeah, you build a lot of loyalty that way, because don't think, like, as soon as it's transactional, they're going to have no qualms about shopping with someone with a different price. So like, unless you have an extremely unique product, ours has some uniqueness to it, definitely, like with the animal charity model. But it's still a pair of socks. There's loads of pairs of socks on Faire. So, it basically comes down to you competing on price. Possibly you're competing on the range that you've got as well. But when it's digital and they can't even feel the product, you're not even competing on quality. You're literally competing on price. So that's where you do have to try and build some loyalty back into it.
Thank you, Lucy. So we're going to talk in a moment about some tips for getting Faire to work, and also some of the things you see people doing, maybe some of the common mistakes. But actually, I thought before we do that, if okay, I have got a free Facebook group for product businesses, and they were really excited we were going to talk about Faire, and they've sent over some specific questions. So I thought, if okay, we can go through those just so we don't double up on anything.
Absolutely.
So the first question I have, and I think this does relate to what we've just been speaking about, is this question says, I'd love to know how to get found by more new customers, as most of my customers are repeat ones that I've brought to the platform myself. So I think they're saying they're using that direct link, and that's the customers that are buying from them. And they're keen to know how to get found by new people on Faire.
Yeah. Okay. So getting found. So I'd say the first thing you want to make sure you're doing is, and it's great that you've already got customers coming in, make sure that those customers are leaving reviews, because we've been told by Faire that the algorithm likes the reviews, and then naturally it works from a customer's hitting your page. So I always want to look at making sure your page is in a good position before you work on like trying to get customers coming in. So yeah, make sure you've got reviews, make sure your product photos are also like to a good standard, and just have a look on the platform or what other businesses are doing, but always make sure your product photos are in a good place. Make sure you've got collections at the top of your page as well. That's a really easy thing that you can just build in Faire. So just kind of making sure that you've got all of that ready to go. A few quick tips that you can do. Think about what your business name is on Faire and if you can optimize it in any way. So a really easy example was we would obviously just Bear Kind on Faire, but if most people have not heard of it, no one's going to be searching for that. So we've changed our name to Bear Kind Socks. So honestly, just something as simple as that, I personally think can help. So, and then it's where else can you optimize for search? So we have built like a SEO template, which we can give to Vicky to share the links. But basically, you want to be optimizing each of your listings. So it's similar to other platforms because you are able to edit your headings and your description. So I think you have up to like 60 characters in your heading and something like 1,000 characters in your description. And you want to be optimizing those for search. And we've done loads of videos on this because so when you come to our page, what you'll see is, if I take our badger socks, for example, it will say badger socks, bamboo socks, blue socks. Maybe it might say pink socks if that like fits into it. But we've just basically described exactly what the product is from an SEO point of view. But don't get me wrong, it's still from a human point of view, it still makes sense because this is, these are business owners. They don't want to be looking at really spammy SEO pages. And we've done the same with our description. So it goes through like what the sock is and all the like the standard criteria that we need to include. But then we've also included a few other things in there, like people also search for this, and then we can stuff it with keywords without making it too spammy. And we've built an Excel template to do exactly this because no one wants to do that manually on every single listing. So we've built a template that means you can just copy and paste all of it and then re-upload it to Faire. So the SEO side of it is really how you're going to get found. But it sounds like you're doing the right thing. Like if you're still getting those sales in, don't be discouraged by Faire not bringing you sales. Keep going on your own sales because at the end of the day, it's 0% commission. So it's always nice getting those sales in, but you're still teaching the algorithm that, look at me, I'm still getting sales in, and use the email marketing as well. So any of those customers any customer email that you're getting should be going through like email marketing flows, whether you're using an external third party or whether you're using Faire's email marketing. Just make sure you keep emailing them. And it's easy to be put off with emails as well, because most of the time you won't get a reply. Almost 99% of the time you're not going to be getting a reply, but it doesn't mean they're not reading your emails. I think because it can take months sometimes for these customers to actually convert. They're business owners, they're busy, they've got their own buying cycles, they've got their own things to think about. Do they have enough room in the stock room? Do they have enough cash flow? Like it's very different from a B2C customer. So just keep going.
Thank you so much, Lucy, and we will link to the template you mentioned in the show notes as well.
Awesome.
So I have a question. I had a question about optimizing, but I think we've covered that. And the next one is actually about reviews and how do you get reviews on Faire?
Yeah, nice. So what people don't realize is you can have a review per order. It's not just per customer. So if you have a good relationship with the customer, it is worth mentioning to them, like if you can just give us 5 stars for each order. So if they're ordering a lot, that's more reviews. And I've checked that with Faire directly. So yeah, you can do that. Obviously asking the customers. So we kind of do a kind of a flow, but it's not because it's through Faire DM, but you want to be messaging them. So for example, if you know your order gets delivered fairly quickly, you can go and filter your orders on Faire for like 2 weeks ago, and you can go in there and say, right, I'm sure that all of these customers have, 1, got their order, 2, they've had enough time to open it, make sure there's no issues. If there are any, they'd have already contacted us. 3, they might have even started selling in that period. And then go back and have just a short piece of text that you're going to copy and paste every single time that's like, hey, how's your order doing? Just checking in. If you have time, please leave us a review. It's as simple as that, and just copy and paste it and do it. And a lot of the time, maybe they won't leave a review. And by the way, I should mention, on the Faire customer database, it will tell you if they've already left a review or not. That's quite helpful. So you don't have to ask someone that's already given you one. So it's about asking them. If you want to go even harder than that, that's what I recommend doing on a regular basis. If you have no reviews at the moment, or very few reviews, and you have plenty of customers, so they should be leaving you reviews, what I recommend doing, and it has worked for us, is going to a specific customer, finding them on another platform, either Facebook or Google, leaving them a review on there, like a 5-star review, being like, oh, such a pleasure to be stocked in this shop. Like, just give them a like really nice review and just talk about their products and stuff. Just, fluff them up a bit. Go back to Faire, message them, being like, hey, I just left you a review on Google. Love working with you. If you do get a chance, leave us a review on Faire. It's honestly so helpful. Like, it just, it does amazing things for our business. That is it's a lot of work, but that's a great way to bump up your reviews when you don't have many, especially with British people, because I feel like they feel like if someone has given you a nice review, it's very hard to then ignore that and not and it might not even be that ignore it, might be that just don't have time for it. But I have found that way has got us the most reviews when we actually sit down and do that. And we don't often do that now. We just do the Faire DM message one because we have so many reviews already. So we're not too worried about doing like a big chunk. But if you're lacking in reviews, that's a really good way of bringing them in quickly.
Oh, that's a brilliant tip. Thank you so much.
No worries.
And a final question from the Facebook group is, do you have any tips for getting approved to sell on Faire? Basically, somebody posted and said, I applied to sell on Faire and got denied, but they don't give you any feedback as to why. And are there any things you think you can think of that would help you to get approved to sell?
Yeah, that's really tough. It is really hard when you don't know why you got rejected. And I don't have like a list of the reasons. I don't know what they go through. I know they're being stricter they're trying not to saturate the platform too much. So I don't know whether they're looking and saying, right, we have enough candles, so we're not approving candles at the moment. That I don't know if that's happening. I know you obviously need to have proof that you're a legitimate business. You need a website or a shop front to be able to share that is the other thing. But I just keep trying. I really would keep trying. And I mean, again, it's something I can share is we have our like referral link for people like signing up. So I can share that. And what we've done in the past is we found that has worked for people who applied just generally before, because we can chase it up. Like we can just drop them a message to say, hey, someone's applied on our referral link and they didn't get approved. So we can try it via that. If anyone's sitting there and they've either been rejected or just never heard back, just keep applying. I've literally had it when I've chased someone, Faire have come back to say, just get them to keep applying every like few months. So I think they're also very busy. But yeah, sorry, I can't help further with, it's difficult when you've not been told. They obviously don't have time to tell everyone the exact reasons, which is frustrating, but you can understand it.
Of course, that's super helpful. Thank you. So please do put your referral link in the show notes as well. So we're going to have lots of useful information for people. So anyone who hasn't applied or wants to apply again can go via that link as well.
Awesome.
Okay, so a few more questions to finish up, if that's okay, Lucy.
Yeah.
What are some of the common mistakes you see on Faire? So maybe a few things that you see happen quite a lot and you can just help us all out with now.
Yeah. So a really easy one, and I mean, this is literally so easy. It's literally the flick of a switch. But in your settings, so when you go to your shop page settings, there's a setting like halfway down the page that says sell to online retailers only. No, hang on. I got that wrong. It says sell to online retailers. And that tends to be switched off as standard. So it means what you're saying as standard is I'm selling to bricks and mortar only. So I've had clients that have had that switched off because they didn't realize the setting was there. What you're doing is obviously cutting off all of the online sellers that are out there. So unless there's a reason for doing that, I don't know what that might be. We're happy to sell to anyone online in bricks and mortar. Then obviously switch that on and then it will open up everyone else to you. So that's just one to watch out for. What other tips can I give you? I think the product range is a big one. There's clients that come to me who I want to say refuse to work with, but it's more like I won't work with them until they've sorted this. But your product range, it's very, very difficult to do wholesale when you've got a tiny range of products. And again, unless you've got something very, very unique that doesn't lend itself to having a range, that's different. But we sell socks. If we were selling like a range of 3 or 4 pairs of socks, and generally I have people coming to me with like 4 products. And I'm like, you're going to find it hard. You can try, but you're going to find it hard because retailers want to know, if they're going to the effort to buying from a business like us, they want a range. And they also want to know that the range is growing and there's future options available. So we make that very obvious when we talk in our videos and everything, that, you know, here's the catalogue, here's our spring summer collection, here's what's coming at Christmas. Like, you're building a future relationship. They want to know that if they're offering their customers products that their customers like and want more of, that they're going to be able to source more of it. So just really consider if your range is like suitable for wholesale. I don't know if there's like a magic number, by the way, of, you know, I guess that's kind of someone's opinion on the magic number. It really depends on your products. And it doesn't mean you have to have a huge range all the time. Maybe you have like a limited edition runs that you like change. But I think it's good to know that you're not stale. You're not just going to sit there with 4 products and never change. I just think you're going to find it really hard to grow in wholesale when there's so many other brands out there. You know, if someone's doing candles and there's a brand that's like, I've got 5 candles, but I change them every month, or I add to it every month, then you're going to find it harder to compete with those. So I'd say really consider that as well. And the other, I guess, commonish mistake that I see is your product photography. This is where it's different from Etsy. I think Etsy does still have that very at-home handmade feel, which is fine. You can do handmade, but you want to go more professional where you can. So I really recommend looking at your product photography. And I feel like those are 2 big ones to think about if you need to change. So I'm just trying to think if there's any smaller tips that use your discount tiers. Faire give you the opportunity to set tiers of discounts. So definitely use them. You can do like a free shipping over this amount, 10% off this, 20% off this, etc. So do use those. And if you're not on Faire already, if you can get on before Faire's summer market, which is coming up end of July, definitely take part. It's definitely well worth it.
Amazing, thank you. That is a lot of advice, Lucy. Is there anything else you wanted?
Have you got your pens out?
Are there any other tips or anything you wanted to add? And I mean, you've given us a lot, so feel free to say, actually, no, that's it.
No, I honestly, we're an open book with this stuff. Like, we're happy to help. So I think actually, like, honestly, just go to our YouTube channel, because we've got about 200 videos on there. So it's Candid Founders. And it's all free, and we release a video a week, and each one will be focusing on a different topic, whether it's SEO or your product listings or email marketing, whatever it might be. So really, you can kind of like just work your way through what's relevant for you. You know, shop page optimization, looking at your settings, the Shopify integration, like all of these different things. And then, yeah, I mean, naturally, if you then want further help, we have loads of things on offer. So I've actually done a discount code for your listeners, because we have the YouTube, but then we have like a digital course. So if you go to wholesaleautopilot.com, we've got a digital course, but we've also got various different things on there. So we've got all of our emails, like our cold emails, our newsletters you can download, our SEO templates and stuff. They're all on there for you to download and use. So I've done Vicky 50 for 50% off, and I've only got 20 codes, so go wild. But then if you want further help than that, we also offer consulting services, so you can use me hourly on your business, or we run people's Faire accounts for them. So there's loads of different like options, but honestly, start with the YouTube channel. That's really the best place to like really understand Faire and work out what's going to be good for your account.
Thank you so much for all of that, Lucy. Thank you for the code. That's really generous. And for anyone who's, I don't know, walking the dog or at the gym, this will all be in the show notes as well. So don't worry if you can't take notes. Yeah, this is definitely one you may want to go back to, because you've covered a lot, Lucy. Thank you so much. I have one final question before we finish, is what would your number one piece of advice be for selling your products on Faire?
Number one, I really think it's the biggest thing. I'm gonna have 2. If you're already doing well on Faire and want to do better, speak to your current customers. That's my main thing. Just take one customer, your best customer, and try and speak to them if you haven't already. My main overall advice is actually go and find the customers yourself. Think of Faire as a sales platform that you're using to help with your sales, almost like as an admin and marketing tool. But you need to go out there and find those customers and bring them into you, because the platform is so saturated now. Just sitting there waiting for the sales to come in won't do anything anymore.
That's brilliant advice. Thank you so much, Lucy.
No worries. Happy to help.
Thank you so much for listening right to the end of this episode. Do remember that you can get the full back catalogue and lots of free resources on my website, vickyweinberg.com. Please do remember to rate and review this episode if you've enjoyed it, and also share it with a friend who you think might find it useful. Thank you again, and see you next week. Hi, this is just a little note. So if you've enjoyed this episode, or indeed any of the episodes, and you would like to, I don't know, buy me a coffee or something, you can actually now leave tips. So there's a link to how to do this in the show note. Of course, do not feel obliged to do this. This is a free podcast. This will always be a free podcast. But as I say, if you want to buy me a coffee, you can do that via the link in the show notes.